Today we're going to be talking about the new Callaway CB wedge. This is a cavity back wedge. That's what CB stands for. I've got the 56 degree. It's got 14 degrees of bounce. They don't come in different bounces. This is what you're going to get. I used to look at clubs and give reviews on like a stock club, but I don't do that anymore. I realized how if it's the stock shaft, it feels so different than mine. So I had one built to my specs, S300, D5 swing weight, 2 degrees flat. But when I look at a golf club like this, like in the past, you kind of set this club down and it's usually bigger, chunkier, but this new CB wedge doesn't look like that at all. It actually looks almost like a Jaws Raw from the top. I think the hosel area is a little bit fatter, but when I look down, it looks pretty sleek, slim. It's got a good look to it. It's got a full face, grooves going all the way out to the end. It's got a very high-tech sole. It's got like this tri-level. It's got some relief in the front, relief in the back. So if you look closely, you can see there's 3 levels here. It's got a lot of bounce, and it's not always something that I prefer personally, because I'm pretty advanced. I like low bounce wedges. I like to open up the club face a lot. When I see this much bounce, I'm very hesitant to open the club face, because once you open that thing up, I mean, you can just see how far the blade would be sticking above the surface, and, you know, to get that underneath. I guess if I were to open this up, I'd go way on the heel. It looks like there's some heel relief, so I'm gonna be giving that a try in a little bit. But yeah, I think it looks great. I'm just trying to think about like the full face of the benefits of it. I mean, a club like this, you wouldn't really open the club face up. And there's a good tip for you. Any cavity back wedge, you don't really open the club face up, especially when it has this much bounce. You won't see a cavity back wedge with low bounce. You'll see cavity back wedges usually with wider bottoms, more bounce, and you should play those clubs more with a square face. You shouldn't open the club face up. It just has too much bounce. So if it has a lot of bounce and you're not opening the club face, why the full face is necessary, I'm not really that sure. Let me get into it. I'm gonna hit some shots. I'm not gonna be hitting shots out of the rough off of a good lie, because any golf club is pretty equal when the ball's sitting up. I'm gonna go a little bit tighter, kind of stickier grass. This is kind of a tough lie here, a little into the grain. See what this feels like. Oh. Would have been a short video if that went in. Pretty good shot there. Let's let this roll down a little bit. Ooh, this is really, so this is death for amateurs. It's sticky, it's tight. You can see this is a bare lie. See what this feels like. Put the ball a little bit back in my stance. Oh yeah. It's amazing. I got so steep on that one trying to make good contact, and you can really feel the bounce. Had my hands pretty far forward. I think this club is great to build technique, actually. The technique of not doing this and scooping, because you'll miss the golf ball if you do it, if you throw too early and too much. With a low bounce wedge you won't, but with a high bounce wedge like this, you've got to really learn to kind of hit down on it, keep your hands forward, and you have enough bounce to kind of graze the ground every time without getting it stuck. But it'll teach you how to keep the hands forward and moving constantly, which I think is incredibly important. But what's really surprising about this wedge is cavity back wedges historically are bigger, chunkier, they're loud, they have this clicky, hollow feel to it. I don't know what this insert back here does exactly, but inserts usually have a lot of role when it comes to sound. Sound has a huge role in feel. Like if you were to hit a golf club or hit a putt with earmuffs on, you wouldn't be able to feel or hear what the club sounds like. The sound of it. This does not feel hollow at all. This feels great. Very close to my gamer. You hit a few shots with it around the greens, and you can't even tell that it's a cavity back wedge. Maybe open up the face on one after telling everyone not to do it. What do you think?
Let's see it.
I'll go open. I'm going to go on the heel. Oh, there's that bounce. You can hear it. It's like a drop kick. So, I don't know. Stay away from opening up the club face, especially off the tight grass, with this specific club. Keep it square. If you need more bounce, if you need more loft, go find a 58 or a 60. Yeah, my number one advice would be don't open this club face up. I think if you're like a mid to high handicapper, like if you're like a 10 handicap and above and you struggle with chipping, this is a great club to just chip with. Even if it's single purpose, like even if you never hit a shot with it. But if you're only using it around the greens off of tight lies, I think this can help you develop the skill of chipping, keeping your hands forward and rotating your body. It's very forgiving. The club doesn't get stuck. And you will not hit this club and try to help it up because you'd single-handedly miss the ball. But also, I think a lot of beginners or, intermediate, high handicappers, they struggle hitting down on wedges. Maybe this will help you hit down on wedges. I mean, I got a little bit steep on the first couple just because I'm afraid of the bounce. But I hit them pretty good, solid. Came off, kind of low launch with high spin. It's a fun shot to hit. But I think definitely learning to just see what the club feels like. I've always been a fan of like progression, where you start out with maybe a really high bounce wedge and you start getting lower and lower as you become better. But this is a great place to start. So these are my initial thoughts on the new Callaway CB wedge.